Right, hello, Bill.
Hello.
In this week's episode, we dive in to the world of Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
We touch on basically an episode on Netflix that's been taken away, and the uproar from that, and the future
Yeah.
of.
The future of media consumption, I guess, and let's do it.
Let's do it with the power of editing. Transition. Oh yeah, shit. Hang on.
Rambles and records.
I want to talk about Netflix because
Nice.
basically, I noticed something the other day. I was reading a few articles and I noticed that Black Mirror, Bandersnatch had been removed from Netflix, and
No way.
there was a little bit of an uproar. So I think the overall hype with it being removed and the problem is that it was one of those first of its time in a way. It was this technology that it was interactive. You chose the main character's fate in the story, and then those decisions you would make with your TV remote would make the difference of the episode lasting anywhere from like 40 minutes to like 2 hours, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I remember watching it. It came out in 2018, which feels like ridiculous because it only feels like a couple of years ago. When I originally watched it, it stuck in my head. And it probably stuck
Yeah.
in my head because of those sort of interactive features. I think it kept me more vigilant and all that sort of stuff.
For sure. I remember where I was when I first watched it as well.
And I thought it was cool. Although I didn't really connect with the storyline as much as, say, a lot of the other episodes. But ironically, those episodes, although I know I resonated and felt deeper connection with certain episodes, I can't actually remember those episodes. I'm terrible with it. Like, granted, if you used to put those episodes on, my brain would like reboot. But
Mm-hmm.
I think there's something about that interactive connection with Bandersnatch that kept my memory jogged and I can remember it more vividly. But anyway, I want to talk about the uproar of it's been taken off and it's pissed people off. And it's kind of like, why does that matter? Why does it matter that it's been taken off? And like, reading articles on it, it seems to have pissed a lot of people off on Reddit, as it usually does. And
Yeah.
I noticed like an embedded comment in the article by a Reddit user. But it resonated with me, and the comment was basically, from a preservation standpoint, this sucks. Neither show is available on physical media, and it's going to be hard to find a complete version of these specials given their interactive nature. Fair point.
No, of course. Like, it's unique in the fact, like you said, that it was unique to the platform. So
Yeah.
you can't copy or distribute it or have a backup or keep it for your own novelty sake. Like, it's completely at the discretion of Netflix. I don't know. Yeah, like how are they gonna? Do you think they could release a version that you can buy off them? But it's not likely because their whole model relies on people being subscribed to their service. So if they start selling copies of Bandersnatch, then you're not going to subscribe to them. Well, I mean, you might do, like for other reasons, but it goes against their main model, right?
Yeah. My cynicism has got the better of me on this one because I'm thinking, well, when it was on Netflix, someone could have got a PVR. They could have done every single ending, right, and recorded it, then manually chopped all that up in an editing software, and then put whatever technology was used to create the interactive thing with the TV remote. And someone could have done that as a personal project, right? But
Could have.
ultimately, I don't know. We'll see.
Just
But maybe.
Yeah, probably not many people would have felt like it was worth the effort. Like it's here for practically nothing, and I
Yeah.
can watch it whenever I want.
Oh, they're definitely going to get rid of this. Grab the
Give
PVR.
me a second.
Get out of my room, Mom! Yeah, so obviously I don't think anyone's gone to that trouble. But then I was thinking, could Netflix start doing this and then like creating like a super premium subscription where they bring back these rarities throughout the years?
That's a good point because the thing that stood out to me is what I think Netflix has to do is it has to create a sense of scarcity, like you touched on already. Because if you just feel like you can watch everything indefinitely, then
There's no urgency.
Yeah. And so they have to take things down. And that's why they even advertise it leaving soon. Like, what other business advertises when they're not offering services anymore?
No, it reminds me of like sales, and I mean sales as in like summer sales, spring sales, autumn sales, winter sales. It creates a sense of urgency, but sales are complete and utter bullshit. Any company who has a sale could sell you that product at that rate and still make a profit regardless of what time of the year it is. And granted, there's some sales where it's like they buy certain products in bulk, there's only a certain amount of them, and you can get it for a one-time fee. But for the most part, sales are just bullshit. But they say, leaving soon, sale ending at the end of the month. Grab it before it's gone. And then you think, oh, fuck, I better get that, get that microwave.
Yeah.
Better get that toaster.
Cupboard full of toasters. It's like, yeah, I saved money because it was on sale.
Yeah.
In which sense did that give you money? You've spent money to buy something you don't need.
So it's similar to that in a sense, is it? I don't know. I kind of get, yeah. It's kind of
Yeah,
like,
no,
yeah,
I think it's marketing, isn't it? Essentially.
it is. It is. But
But I guess there is also some operational cost for them to host it. Like, because, there's a certain amount of server space or whatever that they can, and especially something like that will probably be quite large compared to a
it's a
normal
good point,
video.
Bill.
And if no one's watching it anymore, like, it's already been out for 8 years or 7 years, maybe just no one's watching it. So they're just like,
Such a
well,
good point, man. That's such a
can
good
try something
point. I
else.
can guarantee that they're outsourcing probably someone else to do that, which costs money, but the demand for that show has gone next to nothing. So they're thinking, what's the point of paying these people to do it? And something to back that up is there were other interactive episodes that gone down as well. There was a comedy series, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. Never seen it, but there's an episode called Kimmy versus the Reverend, and it shares the same technology. And that's also gone down.
Okay. So I was going to ask you if there was anything else.
I think there is Bandersnatch, that thing I've just mentioned, and a Minecraft one.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I haven't watched it, but
Have
I
they all
can't
been
now.
taken down?
They've
All
all
of
been
them?
taken down, yeah, I'm pretty sure.
So it seems like probably, it was a bit of a novelty technology that they used. And then they didn't really see much potential to invest in it more. And then they probably just moved on from it, I guess. But, it still raises a very valid point of all the movies and TV shows that we grew up that left an impact on us or were influential in some way. We have the option to go back and get that hit of nostalgia. But
Yeah.
that's not an option, no?
Exactly, man. And I think, don't get me wrong, I mean, this is one show, and for the most part, there are archives of things that have been backed up and things like that. But for how long before there is maybe potentially a price to go with it? And life will go on without Bandersnatch. It wasn't, the
Yeah.
fucking be all and end all. But like, even if Netflix put their hands up and was like, oh, sorry, we fucked up, immediately puts it back on, I doubt the world's going to kind of flock to their TVs to go watch it. But personally, it's frustrating when I see things like that, personally, because it shows how little control we actually have over the security of the art and media that we consume today.
No, exactly. Well, once it exists in the digital space and isn't physical anymore, then, we don't have that control. I don't know if control is the right word, but,
I think, yeah, and it's something that is brilliant about it. I don't think the human brain can really register or process how much media we have at our fingertips,
no,
which is part of the
exactly.
problem. But it's that irresistible convenience that makes us forget the joy and connection of what we once felt from enjoying something, but then stopping it, ejecting it, stowing it away, and putting it somewhere like in a safe place where that is truly yours for future enjoyment whenever you may want it.
Yeah.
And it's that's the the difference. Doesn't
Yeah.
mean a lot to many people. This is the other thing. I think it's like split down the middle. To me and you, that matters, and I think to a lot of people it matters, but to also a lot of other people it don't. It really doesn't.
I understand
So
why as well, because the convenience that streaming offers you is undeniably a great thing. Like if you think about all the technology and innovation that's happened to get to that point, it is quite mind blowing and incredible thing. Because when we were teenagers or kids with a small collection of VHS. And if someone said, "Would you like in on this Netflix thing where you pay less than a VHS rental at the time, and you can watch anything," anybody would have given up all of the VHSs for that in the 90s or 2000s or whatever it was. But the hard thing to balance then is when you have too much choice or too much availability, then it devalues what you do have. You just put something on for 2 minutes. You don't even have the attention span. Like, this is shit. Turn it off. Just browsing lists. If you've spent 10, 20, 30 quid on a film or record or whatever it is, and you own it, unless that's yours and you want to make the most of it.
you'll even like delude yourself into liking it because you bought it. Like you'll be like,
Yeah.
no, because I bought it, and there's no way this isn't going to be sick because it can't not be stuff wasted money on it otherwise. So it
And
is
yeah,
sick.
yeah. And there was a number of times where I bought albums as a teenager thinking, yeah, this is going to be sick, and been a bit disappointed by it.
Mm.
And literally just listened to it enough times until I did like it.
Yeah, yeah. But maybe it's that. I think music is much like that. A little side note on things. I think albums. First time you can hear some albums, you're like, what is this fucking dog shite? But then third time you listen to it, it's like a switch that goes off. It's like, oh, I
Yep.
get it. I think same can be said for TV, films, games, anything. And I get this kind of like cheap thrill in a way of the idea that it can't be taken away from me.
Mm-hmm.
It's and this is only for the stuff that I really do enjoy and know that I like. It's a part of, it's been tried and tested, and it's definitely up there in my top bits of media. And to own that gives me a really strong sense of joy that I don't think I would get even if I was paying for a subscription service that had all those things on it.
Yeah. It's something I think that I'm still learning a bit about, since probably most people can agree that like streaming has become obviously the dominant way to enjoy most forms of media now. And in terms of like collecting records and stuff, that's a newer hobby for me. And I can't remember the last time I put on a DVD or actually like picked a movie. And it is something I've thought about, since I've started being more conscious with my music. Like, what if I started collecting films as well? I don't watch as much TV as I maybe once did. So, like, at the moment, there's part of me that's feeling like, I guess I don't mind the ownership side too much. But thinking about it now, I was so chuffed this weekend that I put on Ty Segall Freedom's Goblin. Somebody happened to mention it on the weekend. I was like, oh shit, yeah, I've got that on record. And I just couldn't wait to go home and actually just go and listen to it. I could have just listened to it on my phone on the way home that evening, but it wasn't the same as like being able to take it out the sleeve and put it on. So there was something nice about knowing that you have one of your favorite albums and you can go and listen to it on the following weekend.
Yeah. It proves your interest in it. It proves that time kind of gives you those reminders. As time goes on, you get these external things that prompt you to pick it up again. Whether it's just well, it could be internal as well. It could be just a thought randomly in 2 years' time,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
or a friend, or an event, or And that's what's great, man. Because when you pick that out, it almost feels like validation for ever owning it. It's like, this is
Yeah,
why
yeah,
I've
yeah.
got it. This is why I've got it, and now I'm going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Rambles and Records.
I do want to add though, on the back of that, this week I have really enjoyed binging Spotify a bit. I think I mentioned last week that I happened to go on the app and I saw like all of these new releases from artists that I was just missing out on. And I've kind of been catching up with a load of new stuff and it's been like, oh wow, it's like taking, I don't know, a dose of some drug that you've like
It is. Of course it is.
you've quit.
And I don't blame you, mate. Because I'm doing the same. And have you ever seen the DJ setting now takes requests?
Nah, I don't think I've got the DJ because I'm still not on Pro.
Fair enough. Me neither. I heard about it, read about it. But yeah, no, you tell it. You know, I'm feeling like want to go for something that's
Mr.
gonna.
Brightside.
Yeah. Hey, we want to go energetic. So here's your favorite band, The Killers, with Mr. Brightside. No, it's. I think the term DJ, it's not trying to be. I think it's trying to be like a radio DJ in a way, but I think it's just trying to be a personal assistant to you. So that's where there's a bit of contrast with it. But I put it through its paces. This feature, anyway. I tried and tested it. What did I say? What was the first thing I said to it? I said, "Oh, can you give me a playlist of like girls that are mad at their boyfriends because they've hurt them?" And it says, "Hey, it seems like you want a playlist about," and like it's pretty good at picking up everything that you say. To be fair, so then there was pretty it's still algorithm based, so it's basing it off your previous listening. But then
Yeah.
I turned it up a notch and I said, "Yo, DJ, can you hit me with a playlist about drinking my own piss?" And then it said something like, "Hey, I can't help with that request right now, but why don't you say something else and I'll see if I can help you," or something like that. And I was like,
Okay.
"Oh, there we go." So clearly there's some caps on it. So
Probably like. Do
how
you
many
think that there's
songs?
many songs about that anyway?
Bear Grylls, Quick 16, Late as a Piss. And then I hit it with, "Can you give me a playlist about toes?"
Mm-hmm.
And it come back a bit confused. I think it even put a joke in there. It's like, "Oh, that's not something I'd usually get requested, but here's a playlist about toes." And it give me things more related to like feet or moving your feet, like Footloose, and
Okay.
so it was pretty good at that. Pretty good at that. So I do think it's quite sophisticated and it's probably got a lot of work to do. But yeah, it's
Yeah. But like, going forward, I think we're going to start seeing more and more tech where rather than having to go to a menu, filter by category, scroll through the options, and then pick something, we're going to have more and more frictionless interactions where you just ask your app or your device, just deliver me this, like, and then you're not, it's just reducing the friction, isn't it?
I think it's literally going to get to an emotional stage where it will understand your emotions and respond with music that helps with them. So it will be more like, how are you feeling? It's turning into more like, are you sad? Are you happy? Are you happy but you want to listen to sad music? Are you sad but you want to listen to happy music? Like it's going to be this like, how do you feel and how do you want to feel as a result? And it's going to learn how to give you those refined, curated dopamine hits to the T based off of like what you tell it and what you have told it in the past.
No, of course. But one of the things that I actually think is a really potentially good benefit of like LLMs and like the kind of wave of AI that we have at the moment is, it's not actually as super intelligent as AI has the potential to be, but it provides a new way of interacting with the computer. So it allows you to interact with the computer in natural language. So, before you had to give very specific instructions and you could say something slightly off but the computer would just completely fail to do what you meant. But now, you can say natural human sentences to it and it will pick up what you mean. So that makes it a lot easier to interact with. And I think that could be a big benefit to have from tech because it has the potential to reduce how absorbed we are by the device. So if it's something next to us that we can passively instruct, put this in my calendar. I need to go to work. Book me an Uber or whatever. Like, maybe it could mean less screen time and less being hooked to ads and stuff. The potential's
True.
there,
Yeah.
but whether or not it gets built that way is another matter. Because
It's
obviously,
all
then,
about the prompts.
but even just the nature of being able to interact with your apps should, by default, just reduce the amount of time you need to look at the screen. Because if you can just talk to your phone without even looking at it, and get everything you need, that is already gonna
It's not
has
screen
the
time.
potential
Yeah.
to reduce it. The only question is, the people building the apps make their money
From ads.
by the more time you spend looking at their app, because that's
Mhm.
when you can get the chance to see adverts. So the potential is there for it to be a more passive assistant, but the incentive might not be there from the people who are building the apps.
It reminds me again of Black Mirror, actually. Have you seen the new series?
I haven't. No.
There's this episode 1. There's this lady. She just gets ill all of a sudden. Something in her brain, doesn't have long to live. But there's this new breakthrough technology where they put a chip in her brain, and it saves her life. But from that, then she's a part of like a tech company that runs the chip, and it only gives her a certain proximity where she can go, like in the world. And if she steps out of that, then the chip turns off and she sort of passes
Mm.
out. And then from there, the tiers keep going up, so they keep having to pay more and more and more for her to be alive, basically.
Yeah.
And there's ads. So she's a teacher, and she'll be there talking, and then while she's talking, she'll give an ad, and the kids are like, "What the fuck?" And it will be based off of like honey. They're talking about honeys and bees, and then she starts saying this honey cereal, and
Okay.
then to turn that off, she's got to pay more, and then it gets
Yeah.
us down this ridiculous rabbit hole, as you can imagine. And I guess that's very drastic, but
Something like that could happen. If you start talking to your phone more, there'll probably be a lot of free AI assistants then that start saying ads to you.
saying
Like, oh, have you tried? What's it called? The honey monster.
sugar puffs.
Is it sugar puffs? Why isn't it honey puffs? Why is he the honey monster? If he does sugar puffs, I've never
I
questioned
think
that
sugar
before.
monster
But
sounds a bit sus. Anyway, like,
yeah. Hey, sugar
here's
monster.
sugar monster. Um, yeah. But I get that. It's like, hey, ChatGPT, I'm feeling really stressed. I feel like I need a getaway. You should go to Center Parks. If you get a free day package right now, and only now, using this code, you get 10% off. Should I put that in the basket? And it's like,
Yeah, it's
you
only a
know,
matter of time.
yeah, and
But that's kind of what happened with Google, isn't it?
yeah.
If you search anything on Google now, all the top results are sponsored posts. They're not actually what you were looking for.
Do you remember when YouTube didn't have ads?
Yeah,
You just
but it
watch
also just
something.
had videos of cats and people falling
Yeah,
over.
true. There weren't much on it to watch. That's the irony. Now there is.
But it's interesting, and things are going to change a lot. But a lot of what I was mentioning there is kind of what I wanted to bake into the thing that I'm building. It's
Yeah.
the idea of being able to extract information quickly from the app and not being hooked to it. Just like, what's the least interaction I can do with the device to get the information I need to make a decision and then carry on with my life in the real world?
It's like exploring on a surface level. It's using the tools to explore the best outcome or answer in the quickest time so that you
Yeah.
can then seek that physical thing and own it.
Yeah, just
And
live a life
experience it
in general. Yeah.
and yeah. So I guess wrapping this up, that's what I recommend. I recommend you with this. Use your Netflix and Spotify accounts to explore, but if you resonate with something and you feel it's special, buy a physical copy and store it away because in
Come on.
years to come,
Yeah. Yeah.
you can sort of sit back pretentiously.
Without having planned it, that has been very much my kind of train of thought this week. After having really enjoyed the experience of a month or several months of no Spotify subscription to having a week of like binging loads of new releases on Spotify, thinking there is probably a balance there somewhere where I can get the best of both worlds. And like you've just said, like use the streaming services to explore, but then, reward the things that the artists and the creators that are making the things that you love the most, and take a piece for yourself to hold on to.
That is it. Done. Stamped. Next.
Now
Next world problem. No, we're just going to stick
Mm.
with this. No, we're just going to stick with this.
Okay, good. Because we
Okay.
probably don't need to start talking about Sharon Osbourne's opinions on kneecap.
That's perfect, please. And tune in next week. Sharon will be having all of the opinions on kneecap, both good and bad. Right. Follow us on socials or don't, Billy.
Don't put sugar in your breakfast if you can help it. High GI in the morning will make you tired in the day.
What about if the sugar monster comes out?
You're fucked.
Literally. See you next week.
See ya.